Well, good morning to you. Welcome to another edition of Expert Alert. I'm Jim Tabor, and this is where we bring in different experts from different types of businesses that are important. And one of the biggest things that's important in everyone's life is finances. And that's why we bring in Jennifer and Carrie Milligan from Strojny Financial here on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. Welcome to the show. Again.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you. Now, I know that the big thing right now is everybody wondering about getting their stimulus check, stimulus money. I got a text message asking for bank information for, to get my $1,200 stimulus check or my half of it. Is this, is the IRS, is this how they communicate, or is this a scam?
It is a scam. It's absolutely not going to be the case that IRS is going to contact you by text or by phone or by email or on social media. Neither the federal nor the state communicate that way. They send letters, and if they don't get the response they want, they send certified letters. And the only time you would ever be communicating with IRS any other way would be if you're already in the middle of an audit or something and you're working with a specific individual that you know who they are. So do not respond to those. There is a nice list of scams that are out there right now that is on the IRS website. It involves things like, a lot of stuff around the stimulus, just like what you're describing. A lot of things around COVID, where they're asking for donations for COVID relief, for areas that have had, problems. A lot of those things are scams. You do want to go look into them, but IRS keeps a list on their first page of irs.gov that's got a list of the current scams that they know about that are going on.
Wow.
So if you get a strange call or a strange request like that, you can always go double check there.
Right.
And I would think just, the way this day and age is, pretty much
Everything's
start with a scam and then move the other way,
Right, right. Yeah, because it always seems like if they're asking for money, it's a scam
Yes.
of some sort.
Right.
Yes.
I had someone, I got a call, one of the robocalls here recently, asking, said my Social Security number had been compromised. I needed to call them and I knew what they were going to ask for it.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I just hung up.
Yeah.
That's the best
That's
route.
the best solution.
Now, if you do get, some people get the scams, you can check this on the website. If you don't see that on there, you can always alert the IRS too, so it helps other individuals out, U.S. taxpayers.
Right.
So.
Well, and you always ask us, Jim, what people have been asking us about. A lot of people do have questions about this second round stimulus.
Right.
So we thought we'd share a little bit about that, if that's helpful.
I did get mine.
Well,
which is good.
And this is with COVID, things are new, right? So we're working through this. There are some people still waiting on their second stimulus, but they meet the parameters to get it. So they're coming in the office and said, well, I haven't gotten it. And we look at, the requirements, and they're going to get it at some point. So, because there is a way, if you did not get the right amount, the full amount that you should have gotten, or you just didn't get it at all, to get that on your tax return on a recovery rebate credit form, okay?
Okay.
Now, what I'm advising my clients is this: I would wait, and if you don't get the second one, I would go and amend if we're filing now, because our biggest concern is that check comes in right after you file your taxes, right?
Right.
And we don't even know how that's going to work, because technically the electronic filing, the computers at the Internal Revenue Service to receive the returns that we've already done, doesn't open to February 12th. So we don't know if it's going to reject, or they're going to have to do an amendment, or really how they're going to treat that. So it's very important for people to know that. And there is a tool. You can go to, get my payment, irs.gov. We go on it with clients. Now, I wish the IRS would have shown how much they got on each deposit or check. They don't do that, but they say the date that they got it. So
surely you can go into your checking account.
That's what we have been doing. Yesterday, it was multiple clients. They're looking at it on their mobile, and they're saying, yeah, okay, I did get this. Because when I say this is what you should have got, I don't know if I got that. Well, you should have got it on this date or around that date, so they go and look, and you can pull it up.
Okay.
So I think that's very important, because I think that would increase problems.
If they get a check, I got a check last year, but if I get a check this year, which I did, got a check this year, do I just wait to claim it next year?
No, it's all reconciled on the 2020 tax return.
Okay.
There's a form that we do that on. So when we're doing the tax returns, we have to enter what did you get in 2020, what did you get in 2021, or are expected to get.
Right.
If we're on track and there's a reason that you should get it. And then it won't put any on here. If you didn't get it, like let's say, I just had this the other day, the parent claimed the child as a dependent in 2020. So the child did not get adult child did not get it in 2020. When I go to do her 2021 return, she's now independent. So she's going to get it now on the tax return.
So they would get 1,200 plus
Because she didn't get it
600, they get
last year.
1,800 total.
Because
wow.
it's a 2020 credit. It's a 2020
Even though it's
credit,
paid, you
even
know,
though
in
it was
the new
paid
year.
in 2 different years.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. That's a good one. What are a lot of people are thinking about? What should I do? And this is a good time of the year to make some decisions about, what am I going to do to make some good money resolutions for 2021? What are some good ideas for, individual, couples, families, whatever? What is a good thing to do? Good money decision to make?
Absolutely. I think there's a lot of things that you can do. And I think also there's a lot that goes on at the beginning of the year. It's real easy just to roll into the next year without really thinking about what happened the prior year. So it's not a bad idea just to take a little bit of time to sit down and say, what are some money goals that I would have for this year? Some things that I would recommend reviewing is go take a look if you are employed at your 401k contributions. See if you can raise those a little bit. Go double check and make sure you're getting the full match, because that's free money to you. If your employer matches the first 6%, then you want to be contributing 6% of it all possible,
Right.
because you're going to get that match from the employer for the same amount. And that adds up. That's double the inflows. We like to say it depends a lot more on what you put in than what the markets end up doing. So you got to put it in over that time. The other thing, if you're self-employed, is there are retirement plans that you can set up for yourself, like perhaps a SEP IRA might be available to you, and those sorts of things. So I would say that's a good place to start.
Is there a
make sure
deadline?
you're
If you work somewhere, like I work here, and we have 401k. Is there a deadline for you to get to change it?
It depends on the plan document for each employer, but most companies allow you to change so many times a year.
Gotcha.
So there may be a window
Right.
that you can find out, oh, I missed the January window, but there's another one that comes up in March.
Okay.
And that's important, I think, to try and, as we get maybe raises, and bonuses, and we can increase what we're putting in. Obviously we want to get the match, which is free money, like you said. And I think that's good. Also, maybe checking your beneficiaries and updating that at this time. Just because, New Year, we're thinking New Year's resolutions because some people get married, some people get divorced, whatever happens, we want to check our beneficiaries. I would also add, we probably want to look, not necessarily, if you don't need the tax deduction, look at the Roth, Roth accounts, whether it's a Roth IRA. A lot of employers, whether it's 401k, 403b, now offer the Roth account type accounts in those accounts, and so you're able to put money there. It's after tax, but why that becomes very important, we deal with multiple generations, and as we go into that distribution phase, there's a tax component, and where do we take our distributions first, that we're living on, and where do we get that money? It is really nice to have that money that will not be taxed, right? Because we didn't get the tax deduction. That will not be taxed when we pull it out, and that helps tremendously, and the impact on their tax situation. So I think that's a critical place to look as well.
Is it a good idea to have it like in an emergency fund?
Absolutely. That was one of the things that I thought we should talk about. So a lot of people say, what should that be? What does that look like? So if you follow somebody like Dave Ramsey, they always say the place you want to start is get that first $1,000 in savings. Like that will make you feel secure, because what happens when you don't have the emergency fund is the air conditioner breaks, or the car won't start, or something like that. And because you have these things coming up all the time and you don't have a cash reserve to go to, you end up never being able to get out of that situation. So sort of the rule of thumb that I hear, and people are always shocked by how much it is if you, somewhere between 3 months to a year is what you want to have in savings. That's to protect, it depends on your marital status, if you're both working, or if you're, somebody's single, or if somebody's disabled, or if somebody's retired.
In industries as well. Some industries are more cyclical.
Right, because if you get laid off or something, you want to know that you can meet your bills for a period of time without having that be the problem of how you're going to put food on the table. So that's always important.
So of course, you've got some other great tips.
Right.
Here we're about out of time.
Okay.
This is great information though for everyone, especially regarding your stimulus check, planning out for a new year. Some great tips. And another thing that you can do, give them a call. Set up an appointment to stop by and talk to Carrie or Jennifer and find out what some things that you can do to secure your financial future.
We've got a great staff ready to help.
Love to help them.
All right. Thank you all for being on the show again. See you next month.
We'll see you.
All right. Strojny Financial here with us again this morning on this edition of Expert Alert.
If you have a question for any of our experts, go to WLOX.com and click on Expert Alert. For a list of any of our upcoming experts, go to WLOX.com and click on Expert Alert.